So I'm right around the corner from my house. I have something I wanted to show you guys. Sun is not exactly going to cooperate with me today, but so you see this house right here? It's a nice house. It was recently on the market and they lowered the price several times. They couldn't get it sold, and so they took it off the market. Well, there's a reason why a house doesn't sell, and in fact there can be several reasons why a house doesn't sell. We're going to talk about some of those reasons, and if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to tell you a fantastic way to get your house sold. So if this is your first time to my channel, please subscribe and tap that bell and you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. I love to give you helpful information about the real estate market as I'm doing today. But I also love to show you the city of San Antonio and what it has to offer. I believe San Antonio is the greatest city in America for many reasons, and I talk about that in some of my videos. That's not my topic for today. But if you search YouTube at San Antonio's Best Realtor, you'll find all my videos. Today I'm going to tell you how to sell a home that didn't sell. There are many ways you can sell a home that didn't sell, because there are various reasons why a home doesn't sell. But if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to give you a really good one that's not even in my book. Yeah, I have books that I've written on this topic. And if you call me, I'll be happy to help you sell your home. If you're having trouble selling a home, or maybe you just like to get it right the first time, which is always a good idea, you can call me and we'll get your home sold for you. But that house that I just showed you is just right around the corner from where I live. It was on the market for quite a while. It originally went on the market in July 2nd. And it went on the market for, let me look at the history here for this house. They had it originally listed for $530,000. It didn't sell. So on July the 13th, they lowered the price to $515,000. It still didn't sell. So July 27th, they lowered the price to $505. It still didn't sell. August the 10th, they lowered the price to $499. The house still didn't sell. August 18th, they lowered the price to $485,000. And on October the 28th, just a few days ago, they decided to cancel the listing because they just couldn't get the house sold. The other thing they did, in the meantime, they listed the house for rent. That happened on August the 12th, $3,500 a month. And they didn't have any takers on that as well. So August the 28th, they also canceled that listing. So that's kind of a heartbreaking situation when you need to sell a house and it just won't sell. So what's the problem? Why did that house not sell? Well, when I look at the pictures on the MLS, they're decent. They're not great, but they're okay. When you're trying to sell your biggest asset, okay is often not good enough. You want fantastic. You want spectacular. I mean, you have to have something that's going to stand out to that buyer. There are a lot of homes on the market. Now, I know a lot of places around the country, there are a shortage of homes, and this home would have sold if it were there, just because people are desperate to find a home and there's just not a lot of homes. And that's all over the country, in a bunch of major cities. And I talk to people from all over the country all the time. And that's the case. That is not the case here in San Antonio. There are plenty of homes on the market. There are plenty of homes for people to choose from, which is one of the reasons I say San Antonio is the best city, one of the best cities in the country that you could move to. If you're looking for a place to live, that's one of the reasons. It's one of the many reasons. But if you're here and you're trying to sell a home, that's not necessarily a good thing for you. But you can get the home sold, but you have to go about it the right way. First of all, you have to hire the right realtor. Okay, again, I am an expert. I have written books on this. A lot of realtors list the home. You know, they put up some pictures, some okay pictures, and they just hope it'll sell. Hoping a home will sell is not a good marketing strategy. You have to sell the home. When I list a home, I sell the home. When I look at this home, it doesn't have a lot of curb appeal. And that's something that can be easily remedied. Put some flowers, put some plants out. Curb appeal is important. That's going to be the first thing people are going to see when they drive up to that house. It's the curb appeal of that house. So that's very important. This house is empty. It's well known that houses sell better when they are staged or just furnished. If someone were living in the house and the furniture was in the house and they keep the house clean, then that's going to help that house sell a lot better. A lot of people don't have much imagination. So when you put things in place and they can see it, that's what's going to sell them on that house. When they walk into an empty house, it's not going to feel like a home. It's going to feel like an empty house. That's why builders always have model homes. They have the model homes that are staged. They have furniture. They make it look like there's a family living there. That's what sells a home. It has to feel like a home. When someone goes in and they're touring that home, they want to feel at home. Those are some simple things. Those are some things that are in my book, and I go into a lot more detail about things you can do in the book. And I like to try to keep my videos kind of short. But the other thing is the description. When someone pulls up your listing and they're reading about it, the way that it's worded makes all the difference. It's called marketing. You can market a Toyota, and a Lexus is a Toyota as well, but they're gonna market it as a luxury car. It's gonna be marketed different because they're gonna sell it for a lot more money. Well, that principle works the same with houses. The way you market it can determine how much that house will sell for. Okay, again, these are things I talk about in my book. But things change in the market. We're in a market that has changed drastically over the last couple of years. So what has changed so much in the last couple of years? Well, the number one thing that comes to my mind are the interest rates. Interest rates are running about 8% right now. 2 years ago, they were around 3%. You could even get interest rates in the 2s. So that's drastic. That makes buying a house a lot less attractive to a lot of people when the interest rates are so much higher than what they were. So if you're selling a house, what do you do about that? So there's different things you can do. You can offer a buy down of the rate, but it's gonna cost you a lot of money. You can buy down the interest rate with points, but a point is 1% of the sale price. So on a $500,000 house, 1 point is $5,000. It's gonna take you $5,000 to buy down that rate, and that $5,000 may only buy down the rate a 1/4% or a 1/2%. But let's say it buys it down 1 full percentage. Now you just went from 8% to 7%, and it cost you $5,000 to do that. So the seller can offer these kind of incentives to get a buyer to buy, but it's gonna cost somebody a lot of money to buy down that rate. The seller can pay it, the buyer can pay it, maybe they split it. But again, it's expensive. It's not gonna get you back down to that 3% that it was at 2 years ago. So how do you get back to that? How do you get to that? Well, there is a way. Believe it or not, if you have a mortgage that's backed by the VA, that loan is assumable. If you have an FHA mortgage, that loan is also likely assumable. Now, from what I understand, conventional loans are not assumable. And what do I mean when I say assumable? I mean you can pass that rate on to your buyer. If you're the seller, you have a home that you purchased 3, 4, 5 years ago when interest rates were really low and you got a good interest rate, you can pass that interest rate on to your buyer. And that's a huge value to your buyer. That's gonna help you a lot in trying to sell that house. If you can sell that house with the 3% interest rate when interest rates are running at 8%, that is huge. That's gonna make such a big difference in the payments. in what that buyer can afford. A person who can afford to buy a $500,000 house at 3% interest will not always be able to buy a $500,000 house at 8% interest, because that payment is going to be so much higher. So what I do is I have a network of buyers that contact me looking for this type of deal. So if you have a home that you're trying to sell and you have an FHA mortgage, you have a VA mortgage, or any kind of government-backed mortgage, it's highly likely that your loan is assumable. You can pass that interest rate on to the buyer. Now what the buyer does, the buyer is going to have to come up with the money to buy out your equity. And by equity, that means the value of your home above the amount that you still owe on the mortgage. So again, I've been talking 500,000, so let's stick with 500,000. You've got a home that you're trying to sell for $500,000, but you owe, let's say, $250,000 on it, $250,000 on it. So you've got $250,000 worth of equity in that home. So a buyer's going to have to come up with $250,000 to pay you in order to assume your loan. And understand this, when they assume your loan, the loan goes into their name. So it's not any type of owner finance, seller finance kind of situation. They're going to have to qualify for that loan, but then that loan will be put into their name. So you're going to be free and clear to go buy your new home or whatever you're going to do, right? So understand that. But then you say, well, how many people have $250,000 sitting around to use as a down payment on a house? Well, there are some, but maybe not a whole lot. But here's the thing, a lot of people who are moving are selling a home. So they may have had $250,000 worth of equity in the home that they sold, especially if they're coming from someplace like Los Angeles, San Diego, New York, Florida, or many other cities in the country where home values are a lot higher than they are here in San Antonio. You know what I mean? I have a guy who lives in my neighborhood who told me he just sold a 1,100 square foot condo in San Diego. And I don't remember how much he said he sold it for, but it was a lot of money, okay? Because San Diego is one of the most expensive housing markets in the country. San Diego is actually more expensive than Los Angeles. So someone coming from a city like that, where they've sold property, they will have the money to buy out that equity. So that is huge, and I don't see any realtors doing that right now. So call me, text me, schedule a Zoom meeting. All of my contact information is always in the comment section below my video. If you have a home that you want to sell, I can help you get it sold. If you are looking to buy a home and you think interest rates are too high, I can help you find one where you can get a good interest rate. All right, so that's going to be my video for today. Like and share, like and share, because this can help somebody. So until next time, take care. I hope to hear from you soon.